My sister threw a tantrum when I didn't let her kids destroy my birthday cake. I had planned a small birthday party at my house with just close friends and family, wanting a relaxed day without too much fuss. I baked a special cake myself, something I was really proud of after trying a new recipe. The party started out great, everyone chatting and having a good time, but then my sister arrived with her 3 kids, who immediately began running around the house like wild animals. I reminded them gently to be careful since it was my birthday, and I wanted everything to stay nice. My sister shrugged it off and said, "Kids will be kids," as if that gave them a free pass to do whatever they wanted. The trouble really started when the kids got near the cake. They were poking at it, grabbing pieces before it was time to cut, and one of them even tried to smash a handful of frosting into the carpet. I told my sister firmly that her kids needed to stop before they ruined the cake, but she laughed and said, "It's just a cake. Don't be so dramatic." I explained that it was my special day, and I wanted to enjoy the cake with my guests, not have it destroyed. That's when she lost it, yelling that I was being selfish and that her kids deserved to have fun too. She grabbed one of the kids and let them smear frosting all over the table and floor, saying, "If you don't want them to have fun, maybe you shouldn't have a party." I was stunned and told her she was being unreasonable, but she just kept yelling and stormed out with her kids, leaving a mess behind. The guests were shocked and tried to help clean up, but the mood was ruined. I felt hurt and angry that my sister thought it was okay to disrespect my home and my birthday like that. Since then, the relationship with my sister has been tense. She hasn't apologized and acts like nothing happened. I'm still upset about how entitled she was and how she put her kids' behavior above my feelings. It's made me rethink how much I want to involve her and her family in future celebrations. I'm sharing this story to remind others that it's okay to set boundaries and expect respect, even from family, especially when it's your special day. As the party wound down and guests started to leave, I was left feeling drained and frustrated. The mess from the cake incident took a long time to clean up, and I couldn't shake the disappointment that my sister had ruined what was supposed to be a joyful day. I tried reaching out to her the next day, hoping to talk things through and maybe get an apology, but she ignored my messages and instead posted on social media about how overdramatic I was being, saying that kids need to be allowed to be kids and that I was too uptight for expecting otherwise. This only made me feel worse, because it showed she wasn't willing to take responsibility for her actions or respect my feelings. I talked to a few close friends and family members about it, and they all agreed that I was right to set boundaries and that my sister's behavior was unacceptable. Some suggested I limit contact with her for a while to protect my mental health, which I started to consider seriously. The whole situation made me realize how entitlement can blind people to the impact of their actions on others, especially when it comes to family. In the weeks following the party, I noticed that my sister continued to act as if nothing had happened, showing up unannounced at my house with her kids and expecting to be welcomed. I had to be firm and tell her that visits needed to be planned in advance and that I needed time to recover from the last incident. She acted offended again, accusing me of being mean and not family-oriented, but I stood my ground, explaining that respect and communication were necessary for any healthy relationship. This ongoing tension has been difficult, but I'm learning to prioritize my own well-being and not let entitlement dictate how I'm treated. I'm hopeful that with time, my sister will come to understand the importance of boundaries, but until then, I'm focused on creating a positive environment for myself and my friends. I'm sharing this story to encourage others to stand up for themselves and not tolerate disrespect, even from those closest to them. Over the next few months, the tension between my sister and me continued to simmer beneath the surface. Family gatherings became awkward, with her making passive-aggressive comments and me trying to avoid confrontation. I noticed that some relatives started taking sides, which only made things more complicated. I tried to stay neutral and focus on the positive relationships I had with other family members, but it was hard not to feel hurt by the division her entitlement caused. One holiday dinner in particular was especially difficult, when she demanded that her kids be allowed to open presents first. Despite everyone agreeing on a different order, I gently reminded her that it was important to be fair to everyone, but she snapped back, accusing me of ruining the holiday spirit and being selfish. That incident was a breaking point for me. I realized I couldn't keep trying to please her or let her entitlement dictate how I felt. I started setting firmer boundaries, like telling her that certain topics were off-limits and that I wouldn't tolerate disrespectful behavior. It wasn't easy, and she often reacted with anger or guilt-tripping, but I knew it was necessary to protect my mental health and maintain some peace. I also sought support from close friends and online communities where others shared similar experiences, which helped me feel less alone and more empowered. Despite the challenges, I'm proud of the progress I've made in standing up for myself and refusing to let entitlement overshadow my happiness. I've learned that it's okay to distance yourself from toxic behavior, even if it's from family, and that self-care sometimes means making tough choices. I continue to hope that one day my sister will recognize how her actions have affected those around her and be willing to work toward healthier relationships. Until then, I'm focused on living my life with kindness, boundaries, and peace. Sharing my story has been cathartic, and I hope it encourages others dealing with entitled family members to stand firm, prioritize their happiness, and remember that boundaries are acts of love and self-care. You deserve respect and peace, even if it means making difficult decisions. Sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most meaningful growth. Since setting firmer boundaries with my sister, I've noticed a gradual improvement in my own well-being. I've started focusing more on nurturing positive relationships and spending time with people who respect me and my space. It hasn't been easy to completely distance myself from family drama, especially when some relatives try to downplay the situation or encourage me to just get along. But I've learned that prioritizing my mental health is essential. I've also become more confident in communicating my needs clearly and calmly. Even when it means facing pushback or disappointment from others, my fiancé has been a huge source of support throughout this, reminding me that our happiness and peace come first. We've talked openly about how entitlement can damage relationships and how important it is to maintain respect and fairness in our own lives. This experience has brought us closer and strengthened our commitment to building a healthy, supportive partnership. I'm grateful for his understanding and for the life we're creating together, free from unnecessary drama. I've also reflected on how entitlement often stems from insecurity or feeling overwhelmed, especially for parents juggling many responsibilities. While this doesn't excuse rude or demanding behavior, it helps me approach conflicts with a bit more empathy. I try to balance standing my ground with kindness, knowing that change is often slow and requires patience. This mindset has helped me cope better and avoid getting caught up in endless arguments or resentment. Looking ahead, I'm hopeful that with time, my sister and I might find common ground, but I'm no longer willing to sacrifice my well-being to make that happen. I'm focused on creating a life filled with respect, love, and peace, and I'm proud of the boundaries I've set. Sharing my story has been healing, and I hope it encourages others dealing with entitled family members to stand up for themselves and prioritize their happiness. In the time since setting boundaries with my sister, I've found a new sense of peace and clarity. While she hasn't changed much and still holds onto her sense of entitlement, I've learned to protect my own happiness without letting her behavior consume me. I focus on the positive relationships in my life and invest my energy where it's appreciated. This experience has taught me that sometimes love means accepting people as they are, but also knowing when to step back for your own well-being. I've also become more vocal about entitlement, sharing my story with friends and online communities to raise awareness and support others facing similar challenges. It feels empowering to connect with people who understand and to know that I'm not alone in dealing with difficult family members. I've realized that setting boundaries isn't about punishment or rejection, but about self-respect and creating healthy spaces for everyone involved. Looking forward, I'm excited about the future my fiancé and I are building together, free from unnecessary drama and full of mutual respect. I'm planning smaller, more intimate family gatherings where everyone's needs are considered and boundaries are honored. I hope these will be opportunities for healing and better understanding over time. Though the road has been rocky, I'm proud of how I've handled the situation and the strength I've gained. Thank you for reading my story. I hope it encourages anyone dealing with entitled family members to stand firm, prioritize their happiness, and remember that boundaries are acts of love and self-care. You deserve respect and peace, even if it means making difficult decisions. Sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most meaningful growth. Keep standing strong and taking care of yourself.